Hi everyone, Einat Kessler here with a new video tutorial, and today I'm going to show you a really cool art journaling or art technique with masking tape. Masking tape is basically paper that can attach or adhere to almost any surface. And since it is paper, you can treat it like paper. That means you can draw on it, you can color it, you can paint it, and you can do almost anything that you can with paper. You can tear it. But today I want to show you a really cool, let's call it sculpturing technique. Now what I'm doing is basically tearing pieces of the masking tape and layering them. Now the fun thing that you can do with masking tape is create texture. You can attach it to your paper flat, and then you can have the pieces slightly overlap so you can create layers, or you can create texture by wrinkling the masking tape. It is paper after all, so when you wrinkle it and then you layer it on your paper, then you get really great texture, and you can use this texture to create all kinds of landscapes, art journal pages, art pieces, canvases, whatever you want. So what I'm building is a wave, and I'm using really small pieces of the masking tape. Of course, you can use any size of masking tape that you have, and then you can decide what size you want your torn pieces to be. I'm using smaller pieces because it's easier to wrinkle and then attach to my paper. But of course you can use larger pieces, and you can see that the wave is taking shape, and I think this technique really goes well with a wave theme because the wrinkles look like foam on the water, like waves. You know, the ocean or the sea is never really completely calm. And I'm adding layers of my masking tape pieces until I'm happy with the result, until I'm happy how the wave looks. And I'm just going to add a few more pieces, and then finally I'm going to add just a few details or raised parts. These are really wrinkled pieces of masking tape, so to mimic or to show the foam of the wave, the white foam of the wave. So these are pieces that I simply wrinkle and attach in different places on the larger wave, and you can see you can keep on layering the pieces, the masking tape pieces, and create whatever texture that you want. I think it looks really cool. And then since it is paper, we are going to color it, and I'm going to use watercolors. Of course you can use acrylic paints, oil paints, colored pencils, markers, whatever paint you like to work with, you can use that. So I'm just going to add different shades of blue to my wave. I'm going to mix different colors of blue, dark blue, light blue, all kinds of blues, maybe a little bit of purple, teal, maybe a little bit of green. These are the colors of the ocean. So working with watercolors is really easy. You just need a wet brush and some watercolors, and like layering the masking tape, you can layer the colors and add more and more layers and mix the colors. And now I'm just adding some stripes in the direction of the wave, so it goes from right to left and upwards when it splashes on the coast. And you see I have many different shades of blue that I added and you can really see all the layers and all the texture I created with the masking tape. There's so many things you can create with your masking tape. And I'm trying to leave the raised parts slightly lighter because they are going to be the foam. So I want them to be lighter, maybe white even. Once I'm happy with the way it looks, I can go ahead and start coloring the background. But I'm just going to add a few more brush strokes, just so I'll be really pleased. Again, for the background, I'm using watercolors. Just want to make sure that my page is wet. And for a page like this, I've used watercolor paper, so it is thick and it can absorb all the water from the watercolors. And I'm just going to add some blues and then a sky. And it is art, so you can basically, it doesn't have to be something real. You can just create texture, shapes on a piece of paper and create an art journal page or artwork. Doesn't have to say anything. Just make art and use the masking tape to create your texture. So I'm just blending the colors directly on the page. This is the first layer. Of course, I'm going to add more layers later. This is just to give me a direction of where I'm going with the paints. So I've decided to add some yellows and oranges to the sky like it's a sunset. I think this will look really well. You can also work on a black cardstock or black water paper and create texture with the masking tape and then color it with brighter colors or metallic colors, or you can just play around with your masking tape and try different things to create that texture and the layers. You can roll it, you can wrinkle it, you can create a real 3D effect. If you find that the masking tape glue gets a little bit weakened by the water, just reinforce it with some liquid glue. So I'm just adding a little bit of bright orange or not orange, silver and white colors to the foam here. Just some highlights before I continue with the sky and the waters. Let's bring in another shade of blue. Yeah, as you can see, I'm mixing it directly on the page, so creating more colors, and I think it looks really nice so far. Just working on the background, but I think that the wave has a really cool texture, and you can see the potential of using this. It's really cheap material to create texture. You can get it in any, store. So I really like this idea of using a masking tape in my art journaling and my art in general. Just adding a little bit more color to the background. Guess I could have worked with a bigger brush, but I started with this one, so I'm going to keep it. And I'm using circular motions to apply my watercolor. I don't want it to be in even straight strokes. I want it to look messy. It is a sky after all. A little bit more blue, mixing with the Yellow gives me a little bit more green. Really like how this turned out. So I added a little splashes of color because the wave sometimes splashes around. And now I'm just going to add some writing. If you are an art journal maker like me, then whenever you make an art journal page, you want to add a title or a quote or something to say. So I'm just using a pen. You make sure that your page is completely dry before you use this pen. And life is troubled waters. I think that says it all. So I really hope you like this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video, so you won't miss anything and you'll be able to follow all the tutorials and make all the projects, including this technique that I really recommend trying. It's really fun. And thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time.